The greatest gift that God ever gave man is not the gift of sight, but the gift of vision. Sight is a function of the eyes, but vision is a function of the heart.
Wow.
And you were not born nor created to live by your eyes, because your eyes show you what is. Visions can show you what could be. And that's why faith is the same as vision. Faith is seeing things that be not, as though they already exist. Vision is a glimpse of your purpose. Vision is seeing your purpose in technicolor. Every human being was born for a purpose. Purpose is defined as original intent. And everything that God created was created to fulfill a specific purpose. In other words, God created nothing for experimentation. Nothing in this world of creation exists for the fun of it. God created nothing for beauty. Everything, even though it may be beautiful, it performs a function. The sun is beautiful, but if without the sun, we would not live. The gamma rays and the ultraviolet rays is what caused the chlorophyll to make food in these leaves that produce oxygen so we can breathe. So without that sun, we'll be dead. Even though the sun is beautiful, it exists for a function. The flowers that we see here among us, beautiful flowers, but it's not beauty God was after. Every color in this flower is designed to attract a certain insect that comes to it to eat, and that pollination that takes place on the bee's leg, for example, produces new blossoms that produce new seeds that produce new trees. In other words, the beauty is for a function. But the point I'm trying to make is that everything God created, even the maggot, the mosquito, has an assignment. Roaches that are in this earth, we don't understand. God designed nothing without a purpose. Everything fulfills its purpose, and that's what brings pleasure to God. Now, here's the unique question. If there's a purpose for the roach, the rat, the mosquito, or the bee, which is here today and gone tomorrow, how much more is there a purpose for your life? Because you are the apex of His creation. You are not a mistake. You are not an experiment. God gave you birth because there's something He wanted done that required your existence. There's something that God wanted to do on earth that made your presence necessary. You came here because there's something that God had in His mind that He wants to see manifested on planet Earth that made Him give you conception. You are not a biological accident. You are not a mistake. Matter of fact, your birth was timed by God. Whether you were born in wedlock, out of wedlock, you were born because God had a specific purpose for your life. And that is why you keep dreaming. There's no such thing as an illegitimate child. No child is illegitimate. Illegitimate means illegal. Kids are never illegal. It's the parents who are illegitimate if they're not married. But that child is God's heritage. The Bible says in the book of Psalm 139, before you was conceived, I knew you. I saw you in your mother's womb. And all of your life and all of your days are written in a book before any one of them began. That means God finished your life before He started it. There's a book on your life. That's why everybody's a bestseller. You and I were born to fulfill a wonderful project that God already finished. God finished your life, then gave you birth to start it. That's why you can see your end. This is where vision comes from. Vision is a glimpse of your end. Everything that exists today is already finished. That's why God told Isaiah in the book of Isaiah 46, verse 9 and 10. He says, I am God, there's none like me. In the next verse he says, I am the only God who can make known the end and the beginning, and set from ancient times what is yet to come. I say, my purpose will stand. God says, I am God and there's none like me because I am the only God that begins with the end first. I finish things first and then I begin them. I finish after I've started. I start after I've finished. In other words, God never begins anything with the beginning. He begins it with the end. Then He backs up and He starts it. He says, I also make known the end at the beginning. And that's where vision comes from. Your future is God's history. God has taken you where He's already been. That's why success is inevitable to every human being if they follow God's plan. Now, notice what He says. He says, I make known the end at the beginning. That means He finishes your life first, and then He backs up and He starts it with you. Then He says, I make your end known at the beginning. In other words, I show you your end at the beginning. That's why children are dreamers. God gave us the gift of imagination so that we can take a tour of our future and come back to the present. God gives the gift to be able to go into our future, look at it, study it, then come back and say, I want to go there. This is why vision is necessary. Vision is when God shows you your end at the beginning. Joseph saw his end as a teenager. It was such detail, he told his brothers and his father. Once you've seen your end, nothing can stop it. All these things that you're doing now, I'm sure you saw them. He shows it to you first. Not only dreams, God shows you in passion, in desires, in ideas, in reoccurring dreams. In other words, vision finds its source in purpose. Vision is when you can conceptually see your ends.
I want to tell you something, dear pastor. I was asked a question when I was 9 years old by a sister, a Catholic sister in Israel. I was taught by Catholic nuns. And one of the Catholic sisters asked me as a 9-year-old boy, I remember the place I was walking down the road. We had just gone to church and coming back to school what I was attending in Jaffa. And then she came to me, and what will you be? I said, a priest. I will be a priest. I always knew I'd be in the ministry. My mentality was priest because I was in a Catholic school. I always knew it. How true you are. God gives us
From a child.
From a child, we have a dream, we have an idea. I had dreams about myself preaching. You know, I would see myself preaching with a white suit when I was just a kid.
Yes, you saw it.
I saw it. I saw
And
the
you're
multitude.
doing it
I'm
now.
doing it.
Yeah.
When I sold ice cream, I saw multitudes of people. I would tell a fellow named Bob Denman, I said, Bob, I keep seeing masses in front of me. I'm preaching. He said, oh, you're going crazy. I wasn't going crazy.
That's right.
I was seeing a
your
vision of
future.
God.
The reason why most people are not disciplined because they haven't seen the end properly. The Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. The word perish means to throw off self-control, self-discipline. If you see your destination, controls your decision making.